Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Wednesday, the 11th of October, Hoshana Rabbah, the day before Shmini Atzeres, 2017. Okay, so a bunch of laws that you'll need to know now as we approach Shmini Atzeres. First of all, on Shmini Atzeres day, we're going to be saying Tfilas Geshem. That's a special prayer announced at Musaf on Shmini Atzeres, which is going to tell us that we're switching over from saying nothing all summer. That's for Ashkenaz Jews who had said nothing in their insert at that point of the Shmona Esrei, and switching over into Mashiv Haruach because we're now going to start entering the rainy season. Now, the switch is a little bit different for people who daven in the Sfard way. That means that they were saying Morid Hatal throughout the summer, and they're now switching over to Mashiv Haruach. That makes a halachic difference, whether you're Sfard or Ashkenaz. I'll tell you why. The general rule for things like Mashiv Haruach is that if you forget to say them, then you have to repeat the Shmona Esrei. And if you forget what you did during your Shmona Esrei because you just said your Shmona Esrei out of habit, so for the first 90 times you have to assume that you said your Shmona Esrei the old way, according to your old habit, and you'd have to assume that you didn't say Mashiv Haruach, and you'd have to repeat the Shmona Esrei. That's the halacha for Ashkenaz Jews. For Jews who daven in the Sfard way, the halacha is different because their old habit was to say Morid Hatal throughout the summer. And if they forgot and, didn't remember what they did, then they probably went with their old habit and said Morid Hatal. And the bottom line is that if you forgot to say Mashiv Haruach and you said Morid Hatal instead, you still praised God at that point for one of his great powers, which is the bringing down of the dew, and you wouldn't have to repeat your Shemona Esrei. So those people who had been saying Morid Hatal throughout the summer are at a distinct advantage there, because if they forget what they did, they can assume that they said Morid Hatal and they won't have to repeat the Shemona Esrei. Hope that wasn't confusing. Anyway, you should try and get yourself into the right habit immediately. What you are allowed to do is to just say 101 times. You just say Mashiv Haruach 101 times, but it must be attached to the words that preceded in Shmona Esrei. So you would say Machayimei Simata Rav Lahoshia, Mashiv Haruach Amar Gashem. That's one. Machayimei Simata Rav Lahoshia, Mashiv Haruach Amar Gashem. That's two. To do about 101 times of that just takes a couple of minutes. It's not as long as you think. And then your habit switches over, and then if you forget what you did, then you're all kind of covered. Okay, those are some of the basics on the Mashiv Haruach switchover. I want to also remind you today to make an Eruv Tafshilan on Hoshana Rabbah. As we explained to you a week ago, this you do whenever you have 2 days of Yom Tov before Shabbos. Also, a quick thought for Simchas Torah for you. You're never ever allowed to say Birkas Kohanim when you've had anything to drink in the form of alcohol. And therefore, what a lot of shuls do is they say the Birkas Kohanim in the Shachris of Simchas Torah morning, and that's because they want to make sure to say the Birkas Kohanim, that duchening part, before anybody has any drinks. And so make certain to arrange it that way if that's how it's going to be in your shul. There is no mitzvah to drink on Simchas Torah. I know that some people do, but there's no command to do it. I'm not a big fan of it, and I don't recommend that anybody drink on Simchas Torah. Certainly not a lot. Maybe just a one something just to begin your Kiddush on Simchas Torah morning, but that's it. And don't let anyone tell you that there's a giant mitzvah, thou shalt get drunk on Simchas Torah. There's no such mitzvah. Okay, and my next chance to give you a halacha will be after Shabbos Bereshis. So, this is my last chance to speak to you until Matzah Shabbos, Saturday night, after the 3-day shebang. And then hopefully I'll have a new law for you then. If anybody's listening from Israel, you know that you could be checking halachas and being on the computers and everything on Friday because it's not Yom Tov for you. But I won't be able to because I'm keeping 2 days of Yom Tov. So this is my last chance speaking to you till after Simchas Torah and Shmini Atzeres and Shabbos. I hope you have a very meaningful Yom Tov and a wonderful Shabbos. And speak to you on the other side of it all. Bye-bye.